the, I think, biggest topics in agents right now.
Yeah.
I mean, all these topics are really big, actually.
Oh yeah, and it was a big gap for me too. Like it was a big gap in my kind of like knowledge and understanding, and it was kind of started. I downloaded Hermes, and if anybody knows, Hermes is kind of like an OpenClaw competitor or whatnot, and they have a desktop version, which is this page right here. You could download it. It's kind of nice because you don't have to do all the setup. You don't have to do the CLI and configuration of files and all that kind of thing. It's just all there in UI. So it's kind of nice. I had Claude Code do the UI, the CLI part anyway. But
as one does.
In case you don't want to do that, that's the nice thing about Hermes. And I've found that it's like a lot more stable and just runs more cleanly. But I was running out of memory, so it only can store 2,000 characters or tokens or something for what it knows about you. So it has some options, and I just asked it, what are your options? And one of them was Honcho. And it ended up being the one that I went with. And I was just kind of like wondering, like, how does this work? It turns out that Honcho, you could either run it locally, which it sounds like a lot of people here want to do everything locally. You can run it locally, but it requires a bunch of different, like a database setup and like a bunch of stuff running in Docker. I ended up going with the hosted version, but essentially you chat with it and it takes it kind of discovers things about you. It takes your little nuggets out and then it kind of like tracks those over time. So, but anyway, that got me kind of down the path of just kind of researching agent memory. And what happened was I asked Claude, I said, hey, what memory frameworks are out there? Like, what are the memory options? And it kind of came back to me, and there were like a dozen of them. I said, oh, this is too much. I can't look at this. Create me a web page that I can kind of look at them. And then it did that. And yeah, I pulled the list. And then I was like, okay, this is a lot, kind of put it together. And then like, oh, there's more. Okay, just create the Next.js site. So the premise of this is eventually I was like, all right, just host it somewhere so I could like read it and send it to somebody. So I accidentally created a directory website essentially, and this is that website. So AI Agent Memory Frameworks, cataloged and sourced, and I went down a large rabbit hole of ways that people organize their memory, and what came out of that were like these kind of families of memory. So Honcho, it fits into this first one here, modeling a person or an agent, not a pile of facts. Manage, extract, retrieve, extracts discrete memories and then retrieves them. And it turns out that memory is actually kind of 3 different parts. It's writing the memory and then extracting the knowledge out of them and then the reading the memory. So it's kind of like it splits out. And all of these make their own choices about ways that they do those along the way. So one of the things I found out along the way is that you really need to pick the one that's right for you. So I have a couple of things out on this webpage. It's memoryatlas.dev. It's also linked on the AI Tinkerers page. But there's some cheat sheets here and stuff like that. Like, hey, what is your use case? And it turns out there's not like a single best use case for memory. It's kind of like, what are you trying to do? I am a big proponent, before all this memory research, have been a big proponent of LLM wikis. And I'm sure you've heard of the Carpathy style wikis, and just kind of like have the LLM ingest whatever you're trying to do and like store it in traditionally like a Paravault, projects, areas, resources, and archive. Tiago Forte has this kind of thing. And that's great because it's all file system based and whatever, but there's a lot more that you can do over top of that. There's RAG, there's knowledge graphs, there's graph RAG, which kind of combines them, and so on. So I'd recommend coming through here and just kind of like looking. As of right now, I have 42 active memory frameworks, and I have Claude running out there, and kind of every night it goes out and researches what memory frameworks are out there, what gaps do we have in our benchmarks and things. And that's one thing I did want to mention as well is the benchmarks. Oh man, is this like a big mess? It's a big mess is what it is. And there's a couple reasons for that. There's kind of that write, extract, read set of 3 phases. So there is no like, does the memory do well? It's kind of like, does it do well writing? Does it do well extracting information? Does it do well reading? And then furthermore, as you look at these benchmarks that are out there, a lot of them are self-reported, number one. There's no like artificial analysis. If you guys know artificial analysis, it's kind of like, here's all of the LLMs, they're stack ranked against each other, and we ran them, and like they're great. And we did it across a very particular set of data and so on. But the memory benchmarks are all over the place. There's more than one of them. And a lot of them are dated too, because as it turns out, as I've been researching this, a lot of the benchmarks came out before the big context windows came out. And sometimes it's better to just context stuff and just put all of the stuff into the context, and then you'll get a better result than any memory framework whatsoever. Now, there is, of course, attention, and like attention can kind of be at the front and the back of your context window. So there's some of that, but you can't really trust benchmarks. And one of the things I want to do as this project continues to grow is do like a benchmark across all of them. It's going to be a little bit expensive, but my goal, my dream, my vision is to do a little version of it and then get some grant money or something to say, hey, look, I have a working pattern here. I want to do it across everything. And I kind of have an understanding of this like three-step phase of like what memory looks like and so on. You can see here also one other confounding factor is like the backbone. Sometimes it's Gemini 3 Flash, sometimes it's GPT 4.1 Mini, GPT 4.0. So like, especially during the read step or the reasoning about what I should read, another confounding factor of like, is the model good enough to figure out how to use the memory, right? So I think there's a lot of moving parts there. But getting back to how I came about this, so it kind of grabbed all the things, ended up falling into these 6 kind of families or categories of memory. I'd recommend going out and reading about them out there. But one of the things I wanted to do is I didn't want to maintain this thing over time. Memory solutions and AI in general just kind of changes all the time. So I built a scheduled job over a set of skills, and the scheduled job just runs Claude-P. If you guys know Claude-P, it just runs a prompt that's in a file, and it kind of runs your SDK, the CLI, just on a regular basis. So it kind of runs that skill on a regular basis, and it goes out and it finds new memory frameworks, gaps in the memory framework. It does that every single night. And then because I am me, I also needed it to write articles and do SEO optimized, whatever. So it writes articles for me as well. But the essence of it is that it does a different kind of vault for its memory right now. And I want to benchmark this against the memory frameworks that are out there, but it does a map of content vault instead of a paravault, which has like paravault is projects, areas, resources, and archive, which is great for like a personal vault. But if you're trying to map knowledge, there's a different kind of vault called a map of content, and it kind of says like for this area, and the way mine works is it goes out, it finds research papers out there that are being written about memory or benchmarks or evaluation of the memory or whatever. It distills them down it picks out the knowledge atoms, like the important knowledge pieces from those papers, and then it distills those down into a set of themes. Over time, this thing keeps adding to those themes. And I can show some of this too. I know I only have 5 minutes, but essentially let me see, it's in research here. I've got these maps, and these are kind of the themes that it's keeping notes about the things that it's finding within the research. And then out of those themes, what happens is, actually I'm going to get to this in the presentation here in just a second here. Yeah, so it's doing dense papers, finding knowledge atom, finding the themes, and then it has these 4 categories of like, are things converging on something? Is it consolidating into a theme? Is it contested? Is it fading? And at some point, do we need to fork? So at some point, one of the themes had like 24 sources of papers in it, and it needed to be forked. And it kind of said like, all right, let me split this out into 3 more themes. So again, this is all being done through Claude Skills. So every night it kind of runs through this. So I know I don't have too much, but there's the skills there, the 5 different skills I have: refresh the framework cards, harvest benchmarks, discover frameworks, research papers, refresh the use cases. And it does it every night. And then, I did want to mention this because I was talking to some people earlier about this too, is that LLMs are non-deterministic, but a pattern that I found really works well is combining non-deterministic LLM steps with deterministic scripts and linters and whatever. So you give it the tools that you've written that you've validated are good. So that's what it does, especially for the article writing, is it makes sure that like the article is well-formed, HTML and all that kind of thing. So I do think that's just a general pattern that's been working really well. So right now, these are the stats for it. What is this? Sweep, extract atoms. That's stuff I already talked about. Okay, so then the next step of this, again, because I'm in, I can't just do one thing. I took it and I made it into an ICM style folder. And you guys, I talked about this a couple of AI tinkerers ago, but basically an ICM folder, interpretable context methodology, it's an agents as markdown in folders. So it has stages, and I actually have these here in my health span one. I have these stages: sweep, ingest, audit, synthesize an article, refresh, commit an email, and I don't know what connect does, honestly, but connect it to other parts of the thing.
And if everybody wants to see that talk, it is on the YouTube channel?
Yes, the talk is out there, so the interpretable context methodology. But it's essentially just a folder structure with steps inside of it, and it could have tools and context and things like that. But it's a more structured way for you to have your agent run. So for me, like I said, I have a single job that kicks off a prompt, but that prompt is essentially a set of folders underneath, and it kind of walks through those workflows as it does things. And then it has tools with skills and all that kind of stuff. So what I did was, once I built the memory atlas, as I said, boy, this is great for looking up stuff about memory, but I'd love to do this for lifespan, health span stuff that I do, and I'd love to do this for agentic engineering stuff that I do. And at work, I'm doing stuff with biologists, and I was like, we're working on stuff that I have no idea about. So I'm like, hey, help me understand how I can use AI to help these biologists do their work, and now it's going out and doing that too. So I told it to do it through this ICM pattern, or kind of generalized it. So that's what I've got now is, there's the stuff about ICM. Anyway, that's that. So at this point, I've got 4 of these things running. I've got an agentic engineering one, a memory atlas one, the health span one, and the NAMS one, which is non-animal models, biology stuff. But they're all running. You can see half of them are failed. That happens too. Usually that just means it hasn't committed and it tried to run again. It refuses to run on that. But by genericizing it over time, it's able to run across a number of domains. I also have it emailing me as one of the steps in the ICM flow. And the reason I have that is so that I can have a time to come back to it and say like, hey, you did this right. It'll tell me I ingested these papers, I found these themes, these are the gaps that I still see, and then I can kind of come back asynchronously and direct it and kind of say like, hey, go this way or that way. So that's that. I did finally, I can't stop. I built this, and this is in my talk now. The auto research scaffold you give it a theme, and this skill will build out an ICM folder for you to do this exact same thing. So you just say, I want to research this particular topic, and it will build you an ICM folder, set up your schedules and all that kind of stuff. It is built on Mac though, so apologies if you need to like change it to do Windows Task Scheduler instead of plist. But I do have the plist up here as well. It's very simple. It just runs the, oops, not that one, the health one. It runs the, this one here. It just runs this claude-p command eventually, somewhere right here, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's down at the bottom.
Is it down there? Okay.
And then is where the claude command is.
Yep, okay, yeah, so claude-p, and then just basically run this command, this little thing here. So yours will need changed, obviously, for your own stuff, but yeah, that's what I did, and I'm pretty happy with it. Like I said, it's kind of auto-updating. I get articles, I come out here and I read about them. Like here's one on the write manage read loop that we were talking about. So yeah, it's been great. Is that all my things? All the links are out here on the talk. The end. Questions? Thanks. Yeah.
How much does it cost to run this?
I run it on my Claude subscription. So you see this Claude-P there. I do have a $200 Claude subscription. I wish I had some numbers up for token usage for you. But yeah, everything I do Usually runs through my cloud subscription. They are amenable to that as long as you're not, what is their limitation? As long as you're not running through a third-party harness. So you are able to schedule things on your own computer to run. I wish I had some token numbers for you though, yeah. Yeah.
How often do you have to go in and like manually manage the memory outputs of it and like kind of delete like poison pills or context rot?
Oh, I haven't gotten to that point yet. So I
Fresh context.
yeah, well, so I will say that the research portion of it searches archive.org and PubMed, so reputable sources. So I'm hoping there's not too much poison pilling in there. But you are right about the context rot. Like I said, in the one of the stages here, it tries to determine, and again, it's LLM as a judge, so who knows, but it tries to determine whether something's fading or hey, we're starting to see things that are contradictory toward the themes that we currently have. I do think that the email is also a good source of that too. Like I can kind of keep an eye on it and see.
Because you said you could like steer it. Have you had to like go in and actually steer it at all?
Not yet. I built this last weekend,
Okay.
so yeah. Yeah. But it's been great. I mean, like honestly, like it's taught me so much about agentic memory over time, especially through these articles. And like I said, it emails me, but you know they're also out here on the web. So yeah. Yes, Rob.
You haven't been running it that long, but how often does it pick up new frameworks for memory? Like
At the beginning, it picked them up kind of daily, and now it's kind of settled at like 42. Yeah. I also have some like limitations on it. Like if it's okay, number one, I am only doing open source ones, so it's only finding ones that are open source on GitHub. And then I also say if it doesn't have over, I don't remember if it was 300 or 500 stars, don't worry about it, because like people like us go out and we're like, oh, I'm gonna make my own memory framework. Don't think I haven't thought that
I
too.
was just thinking that's how I poison pill you or agent.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you got enough stars, then you could. Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead.
With all the different memory stores out there,
Oh yeah.
are they all just different remixes of using vector stores in different ways, or did someone have some very unique architecture?
No, I think they are all different. You could see here that there's like knowledge graphs and graph rag. There's also ones that store on file system. There are ones like, I think Honcho is this way, where it only, it only works within the framework of whatever application you're trying to work within, so like Hermes. So it's not just like a standalone one. Actually, that might be one of my limiting factors, is I don't want ones that are only work within that. So, but I did find that they all have a little bit different architecture about how they approach, but ultimately they do all do that write, manage, read loop, or those stages, I guess. Yeah. Yeah.
So for that memory atlas, then if we talk about the storing the data, like, are you snapshotting things, storing it somewhere? Is that growing indefinitely, or? I know again you've only been doing it for like a week or so it's probably not a big deal. But like, are you like storing everything?
You mean like all the knowledge that?
Yeah, all the knowledge,
Yeah. I am storing all the knowledge, both in Markdown files, which are in this kind of like vault here, where I've got concepts and whatnot. You can see I've got I don't know like a couple dozen here. Those are and this one's even newer. If I go over to the memory one, that's the health span one. But if I go over to the memory one, let's see, concepts. I think there's like 80 or 90 in here, and then it still distills down into these kind of like 12, 13 themes. I also am storing off the PDFs as I grab them as well, so that might be a bit of a problem at some point because PDFs tend to be a little bit bigger. But the reason I'm doing that is I want to do an A/B test to say, like, right now I'm doing the map of context vault, but I want to do an A/B test where, like, does GraphRag actually work better for it to kind of figure out things? So that's on my radar, but as of right now, just mostly text, but the PDFs are probably going to become the most problematic soon. Yeah, go ahead.
For the PDF thing, if you do want to extract reliable text out of research papers, I literally started a company that does this, but we use a model called Grobid, which does text extraction specifically from research papers.
You said Grubin?
Grobid, G-R-O-B-I-D.
Grobid, okay, cool. Oh, nice. Is this your company, or
No,
you're just using?
Is the open source model that we use for research paper extraction.
Cool, thanks. Yeah, nice. That might be helpful at work too, because we're doing a lot of that too. Yeah.
All right, weird question. Based on your research, what's your supplement stack?
Oh, yeah. So for me, so exercise is, sleep is number one of everything. And then I think moving your body is number two. Those are the two best pills that you could take. And then from there, for sleep, I do. I've done magnesium glycinate and apigenin, which is a chamomile extract, and there's one more. I can't remember what it is right now. Oh, L-theanine. Yep. And then for health, I don't really have anything. I do believe that NAD is a thing that has something behind it, and the other one is I don't even want to guesstimate, but there is one out there. I don't know if it's resveratrol or oh shoot, I can't remember what the other one is. But there are a couple out there that metformin is the other one. But I know less about them, so don't take this as this is not medical advice. Yeah.
Yes.
But sleep and exercise are. If there was one pill that could make you do all these things, would you take it? Yes, it's sleep. So just do that. Yeah. Cool. All right. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Yep.